And as soon as Jillian opened the door, I knew Luca's got to be over there and Zoe's going to see him over there. And automatically I was like, ooh, it's about to get juicy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. You're watching Talking TV with Lex. And today we are talking Grown-ish Season 3, Episode 4. But before we get into all the craziness, make sure you like this video, comment on it as you're watching. If you're not already, subscribe to my channel so you know anytime I drop a new video. And share this video with your friends because not only do they need to know about it, but it will make me very, very, very happy. Now, let's get into it. I just want to say overall, I really liked this episode. I think out of all the episodes this season, and maybe even for me throughout the entire series, this has been one of my favorite episodes. I thought the writing was amazing. I loved how they covered, you know, the whole breakup black side thing from both perspectives. You heard it from Luca and you heard it from Zoe. We got to see the real deal struggle of college, is graduating and getting them student loans, child, with Aaron, because I know all about that. It was just a really good episode overall. I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a shock at the end. So I'm excited to talk about this because I feel like it was a really good episode. Last episode, Zoe and Luca were making out in the couch. Turns out they did the nasty on the kitchen counter. That is disgusting. I felt like her roommates were actually very chill about it. I know if my roommates did the do on our kitchen counter, it would probably be a problem because that is absolutely disgusting. I hope they Lysoled it, pledged it, whatever they need to do to wipe it all down. Even though at the end of the episode they had a little thing where Vivek made his sandwich on there and everybody was grossed out about it. And I just have two questions. One, who makes food in the kitchen on the bare counter? Like, you don't put a napkin down, you don't put down a plate. That's disgusting in itself. And two, did nobody clean off the counter? Like, I would be in there scrubbing for days if I know somebody literally had their bare ass cheeks on my kitchen counter. Luca is freaking out. He doesn't know if he should hit up Zoe. He doesn't know if he does hit up Zoe, what he should say. And so he decides to send yo. I wouldn't send yo, period, but I definitely wouldn't send yo after a whole situation we just had. Hello, what's up, how you doing? So many other things other than yo, but I get he was probably overthinking it, so that was what made it be what it was. Of course, Zoe didn't like that. She felt like yo wasn't enough. So she doesn't respond, and it sends Luca down this rabbit hole of emotions. It goes from bliss to denial to anxiety to shame to guilt to anger. Basically, all these different emotions that he's feeling because he sent that text. One thing that he said in the show in response to how he was feeling from sending the text is that he felt like she won because he sent the text first. And it made me think, like, is that really how men think? Like, there's like a winner or a loser in it all? Like, oh, if I send the text first, then she wins, or if I don't text the text first, I win. Like, what, for one, what are you winning? Let's just start there. What is anybody really getting out of that situation? I understand because I've been in this situation where you're overthinking a text message, everything, you're kind of freaking out about anything that's going on. But at the same time, watching it as somebody else is going through it, it's like, is it really that big of a deal? You know, just say hello, just send a text. But I understand when you're in it, it's a completely different situation. And it just left both of them completely spiraling, more so Luca, out of control. And I actually liked that because a lot of the times when you see situations like this on TV and because a lot of the times when you see situations like this, you always assume that the girl is going to be the one freaking out and losing her mind. But it actually was more so Luca. So I'm glad that they showed that side of it because I'm going to be real. In past situations with my exes, I always just assumed in situations like this that they didn't care. It was just another day of doing whatever, and then they just kind of go on. And I just assume that's how guys are. When they get in these situations, they don't really care. They just are able to brush it off and keep it moving. But we actually get to see that guys really do feel these emotions when it comes to, you know, ending a relationship or making a mistake with an ex. They actually got hurt, y'all. They actually got emotions down there. So it was interesting to see it from a guy's perspective and to see it from Luca, because Luca don't ever really show any emotions. So to see him kind of go through this whirlwind of not knowing how to feel, I really enjoyed seeing that. So Jazz because she's dating Doug and because Luca's really venting to Doug, she knows that he's kind of going through these things that he's going through. And she tells ZOEY, and that's when ZOEY reveals, okay, well, I'm still in love with him. And everybody's acting all surprised. I don't know why people are so surprised that she's still in love with her ex, who she hasn't really even been broken up with that long. If she's already over him that quickly, then it probably wasn't real love to begin with. Plus, I don't think she would have backslid and did what she did with him if there wasn't any type of feelings there. But she finally admitted to everybody, even though we already knew, that she's still in love with him. And then we flip to Luca, and he says the same thing, that he's also still in love with her. So the whole time I'm thinking, oh, this must mean that they're back together. But, plot twist, but she's doing the voter registration drive for Anna, and she ends up going to Jillian's room. And as soon as Jillian opened the door, I knew Luca's got to be over there, and Zoe's going to see him over there. And automatically, I was like, ooh, it's about to get juicy. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. I always complain that I hate that it's always guy drama, but then I always kind of hope that there's guy drama. Like, the whole time I was watching Jillian and Zoe's interaction, I was like, I hope Luca's there. I hope Luca's there. I want to see this play out, because I just knew it was going to be good. So that's what ends up happening. Luca walks by, he's putting on his shirt. It's very obvious they was in there getting busy. See, that's why I always think that in situations like this, the guy never cares, because the guy always does something like that. And if you don't know that he's having all of this emotional roller coaster to himself or to his homeboys, and you only see him do that, you automatically think he never cared to begin with, because he was just hooking up with some new girl. But it wasn't just that. I mean, he did do that. And I mean, if he really cared, would he really have ran back to Julian? But at the same time, he is a guy. But you never really know with guys how they're feeling. After ZOEY sees Luca in Jillian's room, she goes back and she's all hurt about it. And Luca reaches out. He was like, hey, we need to talk. And I'm glad that he took the initiative to go and talk to her, because that's a sticky situation. Like, not only did we do what we did, which is also weird and awkward, but now you've seen me in somebody else's room after we did what we did. There's talk, they decide, you know, we shouldn't cross those boundaries anymore. We kind of just need to give each other some space. And I think that's the best thing. I think they should have given each other space to begin with. But I get how it is right after a breakup. Sometimes you just have that moment of weakness and you miss each other. And that's, you know, you're not with that person. You miss being close to that person. And something like sex brings you close to each other in the moment, which is why the first feeling you feel is bliss. But, you know, it really just complicates things, and it honestly shouldn't be done. And I'm glad that they took the time to talk about it and realize that they should leave it alone. But now I'm left wondering what's going to happen next. Like, are we really deading this situation? Like I said in maybe not the last video, the video before, that I'm ready for this whole Luca ZOEY thing to be over. And I wouldn't be opposed to that, but at the same time, after seeing this episode, it's clear that they still love each other and want to be together. But at the same time, I can see them not needing to go back down that road. So I'm honestly in a place where I really don't know what's going to happen next with them. I don't know if they're going to get back together. I don't know if this is really the end. And it also makes me wonder what's going to happen with Jillian now, because they've hyped us so much on Ryan being on this show, and I just can't imagine her only storyline being the fact that she's Luca's other woman, I guess. So I'm wondering what's going to be her place now. I wonder if she's ever going to find out that Luca and ZOEY used to be a thing and how that's going to affect the dynamic. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen next. I think that's why I really like this episode, because it kind of left things where you can't really guess what's going to happen next, and I think that's a good thing. I just want to say that Doug is my favorite person on this show by far. Tonight has validated that. He is my favorite character on this show. This man is the only man who cares about his schoolwork. He was telling Luca, he was like, look, you're not going to mess with my grade, homeboy. So you need to come up out of that funk and get to business. He's the only one who cares about his work. He's the only one who was using condoms. He always is the voice of reason whenever somebody needs advice. I love Doug. Everybody needs a Doug. And I'm glad that they finally have somebody on his show who has their head on straight and their priorities straight. I felt like I just saw myself and my college situation in this episode. That's probably why it was my favorite. I could relate to the whole ex getting back with your ex and it being complicated type of situation. But more than anything, I could relate to Aaron and this student loan thing. I think anybody who has graduated remembers sitting down and having that meeting when you're trying to see if you're getting cleared for graduation and having to sign those papers, promising your life away for them student loans. I almost fell out the chair when I saw mine, and they weren't nearly as high as Aaron's. Aaron's was like $120,000. Mine weren't nearly that high, but I know the struggle of getting that paperwork and filling all that stuff out when you're about to graduate and thinking, is this even worth me graduating? Did I even need to come to college? Did I need to stay in that dorm room that time? Did I need to do this? Did I need to do that? Because now you got to pay all that money back. And you know, half of the time when you graduate from college, majority of people don't even have a job lined up. So you telling me in 6 months I got to try to start paying back $120,000 and I don't even have a job? What? Like, I could completely understand. So I love seeing that part of it because it's so real. And I feel like anybody who's gone to college, anybody who has graduated from college understands that struggle. So I love that they put it in this episode. It was perfect. That pretty much wraps up today's episode. I thought it was a really good episode. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next and to do my review with you all next week. Make sure you like this video, comment on this video. If you're not already, scroll on down and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you share this video with all your friends. I love you guys and thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next Grownish review. Bye guys.